Comrades, today we are conducting the final stage of the strategic exercise Zapad 2025. The purpose of this exercise is to practice all the necessary elements for the unconditional defense of stability, territorial integrity, and protection against any aggression directed at the Union State. The exercise is being held at 41 training grounds. A total of 100,000 service personnel are taking part. About 10,000 weapons systems and pieces of equipment have been deployed and are in use, all of it modern equipment used in real combat operations. The exercise plan itself is based on the experience gained during the special military operation. As I have already noted, there are 10,000 pieces of equipment of various kinds, including 333 aircraft, tactical aviation, strategic aviation, and military transport aviation. Over 247 ships are also being employed, including surface vessels, submarines, and auxiliary ships. For this 2025 strategic exercise, 25 foreign delegations have arrived, 16 sent representatives, while 6 dispatched military contingents to take part in the exercise events. I now ask the Minister of Defense to report on the readiness of the forces for the final phase of the exercise. And, of course, I wish everyone success. Comrade Supreme Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Russian Federation. I report that, in accordance with the training plans of the Armed Forces of the Russian Federation and the Republic of Belarus, at 9 o'clock on September 12, Joint Strategic Exercise Zapad 2025 commenced. Participating on the Russian side are military command bodies, forces of the Leningrad and Moscow military districts, units, and formations of the aerospace forces, the airborne forces, central subordination units, and the Northern and Baltic fleets. On the Belarusian side, forces of the regional grouping are involved. In addition, military contingents and operational groups from foreign defense ministries are also taking part. Training tasks are being carried out in the framework of operations by groupings of forces on the western and northwestern strategic directions, as well as by a coalition grouping of foreign forces in the notional Nizhny Novgorod direction. Troops and forces are ready for the active phase of practical operations. Comrade Supreme Commander-in-Chief. According to the exercise plan, beginning September 4th, a large grouping of forces has been repelling a large-scale military aggression on the Western Theater of Operations. Combat actions are being conducted on 3 axes and in the Arctic zone. On the Western Strategic Axis, the regional grouping of forces has, since September 9, repelled the enemy's main strike in the Republic of Polski. On the morning of September 15, it launched a counterstrike aimed at completing the liberation of the Republic's territory. On the Northwestern Strategic Axis, the grouping disrupted the enemy's diversionary attacks and is conducting operations to destroy enemy forces in border areas. Beginning today, it has also launched offensive actions to restore security zones in adjacent territories. On the Eastern Axis, the coalition grouping of forces is engaged in combat to destroy the enemy in the Nizhny Novgorod region itself. The Northern and Baltic fleets are successfully ensuring dominance in the Barents and Baltic Seas. The Baltic Fleet has defeated enemy amphibious landings. Today, an amphibious landing is being practiced at the Komalevka training ground and at the pier front of the port of Pyongyang. The Northern Fleet has struck critical targets and enemy naval strike groups in the Barents and Norwegian seas, and is repelling enemy amphibious landings on the Rybaki Peninsula. The aerospace forces have repelled missile and air strikes and are providing air support to the troops. 2 long-range Tuesday 22 aircraft struck an enemy naval grouping in the Barents Sea, and 2 Tuesday 160 strategic bombers delivered strikes in the Norwegian Sea. In total, 41 training grounds are being used, including 4 on the territory of the Republic of Belarus. A total of 377 training and combat events are being carried out, including 7 launches of long-range cruise missiles. Today, as part of the practical phase, at the 15th minute, a Zircon hypersonic cruise missile will be launched by the frigate Admiral Gorshkov toward the Shiza training ground. Comrade Commander-in-Chief, permission is requested to commence the practical stage of the troops' operations.